Round 2 is food and drink, and we're starting with Laura.
So we around this table are lucky enough to know the feeling of high days and holidays when we all eat a bit too much and feel a bit and then are quite grateful for the austere salads of January to level it all out. Hathcnut, Viking king of England between 1040 and 1042, apparently didn't know that you can actually have too much of a good thing. According to the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, he did nothing worthy of a king as long as he ruled. I beg to differ, decreeing that the tables of his court should be laid 4 times a day with royal sumptuousness. When the guests finished one feast, he would have them clear the leftovers, and then another feast was set out. 4 times a day.
Chain eating. I like it.
Well, it could have actually just been sex. He got laid with the royal sumptuousness.
Although some would take this as him being quite a generous king, as he allowed all of his servants and people that served to partake in the feasts, whereas other kings and contemporaries of the time only laid out 1 meal a day for those in servitude to whom everyone partaked in these massive feasts 4 times a day, every day. However, there is another view of a slightly more negative light. Ranulph Higden of the 14th century claimed that Hathcnut insisted on having 2 dinners and 2 suppers per day, and his example influenced the English people, who supposedly were to Higden's day gluttonous and extravagant. Higden so claimed that Hathcnut had a lasting effect on the English national character to overeat too much on a daily basis.
Yeah, we do.
I was debating whether to argue it or not.
We eat a large amount.
There are contradicting reports as to the cause of his death, be it poison or stroke due to eating and drinking too much. Either way, he died from food way before Elvis did.
He did before it was cool.
He died of being a fat bastard.
I was going to say, he ate all the pies.
Amazing.
He literally died at a feast when about to give a toast, and there's conflicting things about whether it was due to the cup of drink that he drank and whether that was meant to go to his guest and he drank it instead and killed him instead of his guest, or whether it was just due to the fact that he was a bit of a pie, ate everything, and his body succumbed to this.
He was all of the pie.
Well, to be fair, if he's the sort of guy who would steal a drink off someone else and steal their drink, he deserves to die.
Yeah.
That is a pie fan.
I think it might have been given to him accidentally.
Yeah, it was the fact that the lady came in and offered drinks to him and the guy that was basically next in line to become king because he had because Hathcnut had no sons.
Okay.
And instead of allowing his guest to take the drink first, accepted it himself. Well, that's one of the theories of his death.
Rookie mistake.
It comes across as he's the sort of bloke who would, lean in and go, "You're drinking that,"
Well,
and just take it.
Well, yeah, I am. Actually, you're the king. Yeah, you should probably drink that.
Yeah.
What you've got to remember is that he was 24 when he died.
Stone.
It's going.
So you really want to be in the business of making thrones in that day and age. Oh, it's going to need some real reinforcement.
It's going to need,
Have you seen the size of the king's ass?
And he was the
Going to have
last.
to create some kind of iron foe.
And he was the last Nordic king of both England and Denmark.
I mean, but 4 feasts a day, you're going to be having to... The amount of food brought in on a daily basis for that.
Think of the stress on the latrines.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I
The
know.
poor servant cleaning the shit up. That's...
But not even
That's
just,
a 24-hour on-call job.
Well,
Not just like a feast in the morning, but literally, food. Everyone full now? Yep, okay, clear the table.
Food.
And next.
I don't know, because it was very much a Viking thing. You fed the whole hold. You didn't just feed yourself. And they did have one communal meal fairly regularly. But then everyone would go and grab food from the kitchens and things like that. It wasn't just a case of... So, I don't know how much feast it was for all of them. You might have had a small breakfast feast and then a bigger one.
I was going to say...
It was royal sumptuousness.
Right.
okay, so it wasn't like a continental
It's all going to
breakfast.
get lost in translation now. I was going to say it's all relative. If it was, 2 grapes and a stick of celery.
Yeah. A
I
croissant.
wouldn't call that royal
a single croissant.
sumptuousness.
Oh, I couldn't eat it.
Well, you never know though. It could be because it's
I don't know.
fresh food and blah blah blah, and maybe that's why it was royal sumptuousness. There could be a lot.
There's too many factors for us to make fat jokes.
It's still quite.
There's just too many factors.
He still was a fat bastard.
He was a fat bastard.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm still quite impressed he died when he was 24.
Even for the time,
Yeah.
that's quite impressive.
But in this day and age, if you steal the drink of the wrong person, it's still
You're
deadly.
probably going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest, massive, skinheadest bloke down the pub, you steal his pint, don't expect to live past 24.
No.
Max, I think you're up next.
Yes, my fact for food and drink is the ancient Viking.
Vikings. Yeah. We're doing the Vikings, Max.
What?
Yeah, Vikish, I was going to say.
I thought we were doing Romans.
Yes,
In that case, you've lost the first round.
When I ran out of good facts on Vikings, I went to Romans.
Yes, my fact for the food and drink round is the ancient Viking dish of hakal, the poisonous rotted piss-flavoured vomit shark. It's an oldie-worldy Viking dish, still served in Iceland to this day. It consists of a variety of Greenland or basking shark, which is venomous if you eat the meat of it which has been unprocessed. You catch the shark, you behead it, gut it, and then put it in a shallow hole in the ground. Cover it with sand and gravel and then heavy stones to press out the poisonous juices. You leave it to ferment for 6 to 12 weeks. Then you cut it into strips. You leave those strips to hang. They naturally develop a brown crust, which then needs to be scraped off and presumably discarded. I don't know if they keep it. You then cut the strips into small cubes. When eaten, hakal has a strong ammonia taste and smell, which, for anybody who's uninformed, is the smell of urine. First-time consumers of hakal are often reported to involuntarily projectile vomit. So, yeah, not the best. And I've seen pictures of this. It comes in cubes about twice the size of, say, a sugar cube. In vacuum packed. They still sell it to this day, and it is just piss-flavoured vomit shark.
Isn't that
Why?
what you talked about in Food and Drink in Under the Sea?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
So how long does it last? How long would something like this last, though? Because
I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Why not?
It's cured in its own.
It's fermented.
urine.
I'm essentially trying to put a logical reason as to why you would go through all that hassle for something which you could just take round into the outhouse, piss on, eat, and go, well, it tastes about the same to me.
One word. Scandinavia. It's their cuisine. They love putting stuff in holes and letting it ferment.
And you can still buy it from IKEA.
And you can, yeah. Swedish meatballs or piss shark.
I'm going to go with the meatballs.
Which one would you like? Are you sure?
I'd have Eureka.
Sure, but you can't try it. It's new.
I hate to say it,
It's
I'd
different.
quite like to try the piss shark.
No.
Just because I've heard so much about it, and people think it's cheese when you eat it. The first time. If you don't tell them what it is.
First-time consumers often involuntarily projectile vomit, Gabby. Are you sure? Is that your final answer?
Well, I would smell it first to see what I thought. But I
Spoilers, it smells of piss. I've covered all of this.
No, I know. I mean,
Spoiler.
if you first eat it and you're not really expecting it, then yeah, you probably do. But it's like one of those things where if you actually have the mind of this is going to be something like this, you can kind of keep it down a bit more, I reckon.
Do it.
So, Phil, you're up next.
I don't think I can go after that. Okay, so I am officially spent after vomit piss shark. Okay, so for my fact for the round of food and drink, I would like to look at the name of the Viking, which comes from the Old Norse for a pirate raid.
Okay.
When they were sent off raiding, they were said to be going a Viking. Exactly.
Like a wassailing. Here we go.
Viking, we will go.
However, the majority of their food and drink came from farms and fishing and raising cattle. All things that aren't really suited to raiding. So even though they had a massive reputation for the looting and the raiding, and they were pretty good at that, the vast majority of Vikings from the period were actually farmers. It's even said one of the main reasons they began exploring in the first place was to hunt for more fertile land, because the homelands were notoriously difficult due to the high mountains, dense forests and sandy soil.
I had no idea that Viking was a verb.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and Vike up that liquor store.
Well, it was generally done to kind of people who were more outcasty. It's the people who were in the lands originally tended to send people off to Vike.
The issue you're going to have is after the first people viked, then they the first sort of places they hit, especially if you look at the UK back as it was, you'd hit monasteries. Now monasteries notoriously rich back in the day and notoriously undefended.
Poorly defended.
Yeah, so they would go over, come back with loads of gold, and go, well, I went off a Viking. Look what I found.
What did you do? Farmed for a bit.
Really? Did you get any gold while you were?
No, I got some corn.
Corn. Oh, that's nice. I'll trade you all your corn for this single piece of gold.
Yeah, right.
Ah, see, that's how it went.
They weren't shrewd businessmen.
No.
Like.
No. Would you like to buy my vomit piss shark?
Yeah, please. I've got so much.
First
no
person
one
to
will
sell
buy
one
it.
of those, yeah. Okay, so round 2 food and drink. Are we going to go with Laura's supersized Vikings, Max's Scumble Shark, or Phil's Vikings Lovers Not Fighters? Phil, who are you going to opt for?
This is a tricky one because we've got Gluttonous King versus Vomit Piss Shark.
4 feasts a day.
4 feasts a day. Which
Now, remember, I have said...
Versus one not quite a feast, it doesn't say down.
essentially something which causes an eating disorder.
No. Mine can be as many
both.
feasts as you would like. Because you eat, and then it comes back,
so
and
that's
then
what-
you can eat it again.
that's what
The fourth that just
feast.
keeps on giving.
They should stop.
It's not going to taste any better the second time you eat it, believe you me.
They should stop
But
serving
would
the
it?
Vomit Piss Shark as dessert because that's why they needed another feast because everyone was like, oh,
That's why everyone was so thin.
oh. Thin and
Oh, the
beardy.
shark is going right through me.
It really does.
Right, for that reason alone, I'm going for 4 feasts today. There you have my vote.
Fail.
Yeah.
Max, who are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for Phil because I love the fact that Viking is now a verb. Purely. I like Who Ate All the Pies. I do like it, but Viking as a verb, I'm just going to start incorporating that into my daily repertoire.
We could go Viking later if you want.
Yeah.
We could. We're busy now. We're recording
busy.
a podcast.
Oh, sorry.
But afterwards, we can Vike.
We can Vike.
We can Vike like bosses.
Vike till it hurts.
That's
Other
getting
people.
cut.
Well, yeah, obviously, you don't Vike yourself.
Don't raid yourself.
Okay, Laura, who are you voting for?
I'm going to have to vote for Phil, partly because I feel that I've already heard Max's fact.
I was so happy
Yeah.
with that fact. I was
It's
so
a good
sure
fact. It
that
is a
was
great
gonna
fact.
win.
I love that fact.
It is a really great fact, and if I had
I need
not
to do my
heard it
research.
before 2 weeks ago,
Damn.
Yeah.
You snooze.
I'm going to vote for Max just because I love that fact and it's a great
pity.
fact. And
Screw
for
you,
pity,
Kirby.
yeah,
It's for
entirely
pity.
for pity.
Thank you.
you're voting for your own fact.
I'm voting for myself. So I think on level I win. But actually Phil wins.
Way!
Well, bugger.
Twice in one night, said no one ever to Phil.